Hello, hello, and welcome to this episode 4 of our Chronicle Transylvania Beckons, a Dark Ages V20 Chronicle. This is the episode 4 titled The Hand Upon the Thread. Before we get too deep into anything, we are missing one of our cantankerous canites this afternoon, evening, good time zone, whatever it is for you. But we will be catching up with where the wonderful Sister Gisela is soon. However, let's go ahead and go around and introduce ourselves. In the very rare turn of events, I will be introducing myself first today. Hello. My name is Avery. I am at Golden Gwydion on all of the social media platforms. And I will be playing literally everyone who's not about to introduce themselves today. So let's go ahead and go down to the wonderful Azure Butterfly.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I am the Azure Butterfly, Azure for short, or simply Rachel. I am playing Prince Juliana Wohlstadt, aka Jill, the gangrel prince of the Tayuda Pass.
Hello, I'm or as I was on the social medias because I think I'm funny, and today I'll be playing Jack, the gangrel, lost prince of Schlossberg. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Schlossberg, which is now known under a different name by the city of Sighisoara in the Hungarian tongue, because there's been a broad swath of time that has occurred, and as we know as human beings, language evolves and places change names like human beings change socks. So, with that being said, last and certainly not least for today, we'll go over to the wonderful Druid by Night.
Hello, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on all the social medias, including Twitch. And today I will be playing Prince Rosalind, Prince of Balgrad.
Balgrad, which also now goes by a different name, goes by the name of Alba Iula. Iulia. Forgive me, there's a secondary I. Language is hard, folks, especially when it's not one that's even remotely related to any of the multitudes that you do speak. Wonderful. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and crack right on in to episode 4 of season 1, The Hand Upon the Threads. Of course, all of our princes have received visits from the Master Mason, Zelios, the Nosferatu who was instrumental in the recovering of the Library of the Sons of Assam within Tayuda Pass during the early years of this slightly under a century and a half that have passed. It is now the spring of the year 1314. He stopped to check by all of your fortifications and castles and make sure that any measures on the curtain walls were properly made and rectified if they were not. However, none of you have seen the Master Mason in some time. He was always more than happy to acquiesce to whatever demands and traditions you had set in place in your own territories, being ostensibly the model guest, but it has been many, many years since any of you have seen the Master Mason. On occasion, your old friends Anatoly and Lucida have passed through the area as well, stopping for a night to a fortnight to exchange news and pleasantries and just catch up with their dear friends that are this coterie. Recently, however, all of you through your networks of contacts have heard rumor that hints that your strange Malkavian ally Anatoly has undertaken a campaign of diablerie, claiming that it is God's will. Since hearing of that rumor, none of you have seen Anatoly or his Lasombra companion. It seems they have disappeared from the lands of Transylvania. Mika Vikos has written once or twice from Constantinople. Maybe more than once or twice to a certain premier, inquiring after the Coterie's fortunes and wishing you well and assuring you that if there's any need for reinforcement from the city of Constantinople, that the glorious triumvirate would be more than happy to lend their aid should you need it. In the past 2 years, weather patterns, terrible weather patterns, have devastated much of the land of Transylvania. Blizzards, windstorms, floods, droughts, landslides, avalanches have all served to make farming and husbandry risky propositions at best. With the scourging of the land, more peasants flock to cities, hoping to find even the meanest work to save their families from starvation. After a dreadful winter, this past winter, spring has finally returned. With the clearing of the roads, you've all received an invitation. All but one of you. Rosalind, in this early spring, the Bruja Primogen of Alba Iulia has requested an audience.
Oh. Well, an audience he shall have.
As he is escorted into whatever chamber within your castle, you decide to take the Bruja Primogen in. He enters the room in a slightly out-of-date fashion. The robes are reminiscent of the early Grecian period, though they are obviously made recently. It is an homage to humbler times and humbler roots. Dominic is about 5'10", nearly 220 pounds, rippling with muscle. He appears to be in his early 40s. Wise creases in his brow, proud, blazing, intelligent eyes of the softest green. He strolls in with a Carthaginian sword on his hip, which promptly after bowing he hands off to one of the guards within the room. Keep safe for him, as it is considered an affront to carry such a thing. My prince, I don't know where to begin. May I sit?
No, of course, my friend.
Sits down. And he just sort of stares over your shoulder for a minute. I have been asked to broker a meeting.
Between who?
You've already met this man, so I don't understand his need for privacy. The canine Zelios wishes to summon you and your coterie here to Alba Iulia.
Whatever.
He would ask that you host this meeting.
Okay.
His reasoning I know not.
Cryptic?
This is what the lepers are known for, is it not?
Very true.
Riddles in the dark.
Wouldn't expect anything less from them.
Very well.
Well, I haven't seen my former coterie in some time. I don't see why not.
As you wish. I will have the invitations drafted, and I will tell Zelios that you have accepted his offer to host this gathering.
Thank you, Dominic, for bringing this to my attention. And for brokering this meeting.
He stops for a moment. What do you make of it?
Well, the last time I was summoned to meet with this coterie, it was because we were needed for something seemingly greater than ourselves.
Interesting.
So I won't be surprised if it's some new adventure. Though I don't know what we would be called for when we're in charge of our domains.
As it concerns the Master Mason, I am familiar with him enough to know that usually when he sets out in these endeavors, the importance is never on the surface.
I see.
We had many Nosferatu in Carthage. They have a way about them. A hunger that lays within their souls for knowledge, but not as we Bruja know it. They have a knowledge for the secret, for the occult, for the hidden.
Common ground with Tremere, I would say.
As we see that common ground thinning, I did wish to notify you that my observances in the Carpathians have turned to fruit. I believe your suspicions are valid. Verstania is making many gargoyles.
Of course.
Is troubling.
Yes. Rosalind will...
If that is not brought under sway, Lady Rosalind, I begin to fear for your relationship with your vassals. As though we, your Primogen Council, know that you are not as similar or as dissimilar. You are not as similar to the rest of your clan as others believe, but you are not as dissimilar as we had believed you to be.
Know me so well. No, that needs to be kept in check. Thank you for bringing that to my attention as well. I'll have to speak with Celestine.
I am here to serve, and I wouldn't have taken this position for anyone else.
Rosalind will actually smile. Thank you.
I believe you have a unique opportunity here.
Mm.
You can choose to do something or do nothing, and all of the world will see you for it, or at least all of Transylvania.
A lot of weight, but one I'm willing to carry.
We will see where it is you carry it then, my prince.
Mm.
Please, if I may be excused.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
As he stands and he walks over, and his fingertips touch his sword and go to grab it before he just cants his head over his shoulder. I know ostensibly I work for you, Prince Rosalind. And it is good that the people see it that way. But I was a Cainite before the civilization that birthed your sire ever blinked onto the face of the planet. Be mindful of those whose company you keep.
I do my best, but I'm glad to have yours.
As you say. Takes his sword and absconds. And it is now that each of you have received in your own domains letters of invitation, penned personally by the hand of the Master Mason Zelios, inviting you to your old coterie mate's domain in Alba Iulia to meet with him, to discuss, and I quote, the nature of these most unnatural calamities.
Does Jax go to Jack?
Jack, yours is hand-delivered to you.
Okay. Then not so terrifying.
In fact, it is hand-delivered to you tied to the back of a rat.
I love that so
Jack
much.
will make sure to let the rat know that he greatly appreciates this. And set it away with the snack before.
As it sits up on its hind legs and grabs a snack in its hand and chews it. I will forever remember this kindness you have done me.
I know it was probably a long journey.
It was very long, and my legs are very small.
If you need to, feel free to rest here. It's not the most comfortable, but
There are many of your kind here that are not friendly to a rat. I will find some hole to hide in for now, with this nice chunk of cheese.
my seneschal taught me better.
Da,
Sleep well.
привет. As this rat scuttles off. So, it takes a little bit of time for each of you to get to Alba Iulia, although it is the most centrally located of all of the cities that you received. As you arrive around the same time, I will go ahead and ask a question. Are you waiting on Sister Gisela to engage in pleasantries and conversation?
I mean, I assume we're talking like immediately.
Sure. I will say then, about 2 days before the meeting, Rosalind, you would have received a letter penned in the hand of Brother Aldis of the clan Malkavian, elaborating on the fact that Mr. Gisela has been in some intense meditation. God is giving her great and glorious signs, and she is veritably following these signs down the pathway to salvation, that long and narrow road which is easier to pass a camel through the eye of a needle.
Good for her.
However, your guests have arrived, Lady Rosalind. Jack and Jill, your old coterie mates after many, many years.
Much like when we were all in Radu's keep, we would probably all meet in the main throne chamber.
Indeed. Jack, Jill, as you enter, Rosalind, would you care to describe your audience chamber?
Oh boy. It would be like similar to a throne room, but with the big one in the middle. One close to her right side, like quite close to it, and then two more on each side flanking. Only two like long tables each across the room from each other, so there's a lot of room between them in the center. Decorations of red and silver with black accents, lots of roses, lots of woven tapestries of various depicting various knightly tales of chivalry. Very decorative.
So much excess.
Yeah. A little bit of excess.
Jack's eyes are darting around the entire room, taking it all in, seeing who all is in here.
I would like to note that the last time most of you, maybe not Jack, I'm not 100% sure on this one, when this change actually happened in Jill, but the last time you saw Jill, she was wearing just ragged leathers, furs, and the like. Now she's wearing a little more well put together armors, and you would both recognize it as a variation, if you will, on the same sort of armor that you've seen on the Wolves of Tayuda. Greens, browns, with a rather decently thick fur coat around it.
Rosalind, did you clear your primogen from the chamber this evening? Or
Yes.
are you attended to?
They will not be here in our initial meeting. I'll call for them.
All right then, and it is just Rosalind sitting upon her throne.
Jack is dressed like a merchant, almost. The clothes don't fit exactly right, but they're clean. Jack remembered what Rosalind said about cleanliness, her and Gisela. And so he'll stride in. He as though he's on edge. I think the last time you saw him was about 40 years after we got our domains and titles.
Rosalind.
Jack,
J-
Jill.
Jill is just
She'll rise.
sizing her up. You seem to be in your element.
Oh, this all. You have to keep appearances.
That was such a sibling moment.
Some things never change.
Century apart.
It's at that point the doors behind you open again. And fully in his road-dusted gray robes, his stony, flaking skin, stood at near perfect posture, walking with a thick, leather-bound book in his arm. Many years have passed, but the appearance of the Master Mason, Zelios, has not.
Zelios, welcome.
Assembled princes of Transylvania.
Missing one, but yes.
Yes.
Where is Gisela?
Deep in meditation. Speaking with God.
Cannot interrupt that. I have learned much from the Malkavian at home.
The piety of Sister Gisela is certainly nothing to be sniffed about.
Certainly not.
Not Gisela. I am
Please,
sorry.
do not allow me to interrupt. There are some things that I need to prepare before we speak on why I've brought you all together. I assume your domains were left in capable hands, all of you. This may take some time.
My child is currently overseeing. I trust her.
Your child.
What?
Yes, how is the dear, what is her name? Scylla
Celia, yes.
of Tayut. Yes, Cilia, forgive me. These Slavic names are most often difficult for me to pronounce.
She is taking to leadership, I assume, as much as she is with my wolves. She is capable. I trust her. And she's going to look to Jack.
Yes.
And she's going to be like, and she's just going to smile at him. And she's going to say, much does change when you banish for a while, dear brother.
And it is always to be noted that when you wish for things to change, things change. Not always what you wish for, but something will change.
Things change whether you have a hand in them or not. My seneschal has things under control in the city.
Is that right? Curious.
I don't see what's curious
She's-
about that. That seems quite natural.
Zelios and Jack just staring at each other.
Yeah, Rosalind's raised an eyebrow at this tension.
Yeah, this like, I may be only having 1 dot in politics still, but I do have 2 dots in leadership
Right, that
and
dot.
2 dots in empathy now. So something seems off with this.
And, dearest Rosalind,
Mm.
I wanted to congratulate you. It is not every day you see elders twice to thrice the age of a prince serving them.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic is a rare grab.
Dominic
It is my sincerest wish you don't fumble that blessing. Because that blessing could turn into a curse quite quickly.
She'll swallow, even though she doesn't have to.
You should
And
think.
after a moment, say, "It would be, but I have no intention of fumbling anything. Thank you."
As you say. Well, give me a moment to prepare, and then we can begin to discuss the nature. Do you have a camarilla I can use to set things up?
Absolutely. She'll gesture to it.
I will gather you when I have things. And Zelios heads off into the side room, the camarilla, as it were.
While that's happening, Jill is just going to look at Jack and she's going to say, "What was that about?"
Don't worry about it.
Hmm.
It's something Zelios and I will need to talk about. And you and I, Rosalind.
Rosalind will kind of look to the side and then back at Jack. Of course.
But not me.
I want to know what's going on first.
Jill's gonna furrow her brow
Or
and walk right up to Jack and just stare at him in the eyes, trying to study him.
child, huh? I have a niece.
Yes,
Hmm.
my wife.
And you're married?
In a manner of speaking.
Wow. Congratulations.
That's what happens when you don't contact people.
It wasn't an option. Is your sire here, Rosalind? Or is it just us?
Celestine. No, he's not here. Not currently.
The rest of your clan?
I have a Tremere Primogen.
Alright.
Hendrik
Jack,
sends his
also,
regards, by
if-
the way.
If the
Yes.
rumors are true that you've heard within your court, Jack, Bulgrad also hosts a chantry.
Yes.
So the chantry is not on the grounds then.
Now the Chantry is is a ways away, but I oversee it.
You oversee it.
Esme runs it, but I oversee it.
I assume it's a similar setup to how my wolves function. Celia runs them, but I watch their maturation.
Yeah. For the most part.
And how's that going?
Storyteller, would we have students?
Yes. I would say that the chantry of Bulgrad hosts roughly 13 Tremere.
Excellent. It's running quite well. We have students. And much research is being conducted, but that's
Research or what did the last one call it? Experimentation.
nothing of the sort. Lots of books.
Speaking of, did you find a use for the tomes and scrolls that you took from the library?
I did. And I will find out more about that at another night.
Being a prince keeps you busy.
Does.
Quite. Especially when you have an entire city to establish.
And the whole
Yes.
marriage to upkeep.
Things seem to be working out quite well so far.
There
And how-
is a knock at the door.
Come in.
And again, the Bruja Primogen Dominic enters the room.
Jack, Jill, my Primogen, Dominic.
A pleasure.
These are the two animals, then.
Excuse you?
Jack is going to snarl. Because you didn't
It
say what clan.
is-
Yeah, Jack's gonna snarl.
It is simply the sobriquet used to describe your people. Take no offense. Or take offense if you choose, it matters very, very little to me.
You do need something.
Prince of Sigisora and the prince tell you to pass. I was just coming to say I have received a guest, and I will hold them until whatever meeting you have here is done.
Sort of guessed.
An old acquaintance.
Okay.
I believe you might know him as Havnor.
Oh, Havnor, yes. Oh,
Got to be fucking kidding me.
Your tongue strikes with all the finesse of a weighted maul, Prince Jack. Yes.
No offense was
I will
meant.
hold him
Rosalind,
for
he is your
you,
guest.
if you would like, or I will send him on his way. Whatever it is you desire, Prince Rosalind.
after the meeting is conducted, we will see what he needs.
As you say. He is in a mood. But old Havnor and I have been friends for a long time. Friends is a loose term. Associated, perhaps, would be better in mixed company.
Does he chant wild tales to you consistently?
Wild tale. Is that what you believe the words of the god of thunder and prophecy? You don't discount your own sister Gisela's words in that way, do you? Prince Juliana of the House of Volstadt.
I do not discount Gisela's, no, but that's because I trust Gisela. But at the same time, someone who happened to be there before I met my mortal end, and before the havoc that happened 2 centuries ago occurred, causes some stir within me. It's unsettling.
So he is of the clan of the moon.
Yes.
That
He
makes
is
it
one of the eldest amongst the children of Mulcav in Transylvania.
That suddenly makes more sense.
When the Romans built Aquinum, Havnor was there. You would be very wise not to discount him or underestimate him. If I were to give any free advice of goodwill to visiting.
Thank you, Dominic.
You can.
It's my pleasure.
Jack can probably tell that there's an almost familiar, riled up sense coming from Jill, like she was about to go into her little explosions of personality, so to speak. But then she takes a breath, and with 200 years worth of training,
Get that willpower together.
holds it in.
I meant no offense to your friend, Primogen Dominic, or acquaintance, however you wish to describe him. I do find that we must put more stock into whatever Zelios has to say. Now, it seems whenever Havnor, as he's called, brings with him the bane of hell.
You should know that his name, he is Havnor, but his name is Octavio.
Octavio. Does that name ring any bells?
No.
Is there any bells for me in my reading? My library? Oh, that's okay.
No.
I understand that knowledge is not free, but does the name Zolat mean anything to you, Dominic?
No.
In the words that he spoke to us in both occasions,
I would love to insight check Dominic.
Lolit lies.
Roll it.
Okay.
Wits and empathy.
Hi, buddy. I know it's okay. Wits and empathy. All right. I believe in you, dice.
You can do it.
200 years, Jack's been trying to find out who this fucking Zolot is.
Difficulty is 6.
Oh yeah, all the empathy. All right, come on, buddy. I believe in you. 200 years. 200 years of hunting people and hiding. Oh shit! Okay, all right, that's 1 and 2 10s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
The dice are just on our side today,
The-
it seems.
The dice love us today, and it means next time it's gonna be so bad.
Even with 5 successes.
Yeah.
Dominic's demeanor is implacable. There is not a single chink in his social armor.
Well, we could always ask.
There's nothing in his delivery of the simple answer of no that would give you any indication that he was withholding the truth.
Well, since Havnor is here, yes, we could always just ask him directly. Jack.
I've met a lot of Malkavians now. Usually the answers they give I can't determine. Thank you, Dominic. Rosalind, you picked a brilliant primogen of Clan
Ruha.
Ruha.
Oh.
How is in this, by the way, Jill?
How is it? How is it, Ennis?
You tell me. It's your domain.
Doing fine. Last that I checked in, always has a criticism to say about how I'm running the pass, but that doesn't.
You
feel...
do see a slight smirk at the corner of Dominic's mouth.
But I have taken some of his advice, or her advice. Her, right? Okay.
Yes. I hope I sent the right person.
This is a character we just added to my
I know.
roster right before session start. Yes, I've taken some of her advice to heart. With some of the economics of the pass to Hendrik's dismay, but compromise sometimes is necessary, right?
Sure.
There's
Well,
nothing
thanks.
else, Prince Rosalind. Would you like me to keep your guest nearby? I can keep him company if you wish.
Yes, please.
My company may keep him from any unpleasant outbursts.
Definitely then. Thank you.
Well, if we hear "Come, O children" very loudly, we know something is going on.
And he'll lean in to sort of give you the very princely, kiss on each cheek to excuse himself, but as he leans into your one ear, he whispers, "There is a messenger from Constantinople on the road."
He'll actually sigh a little.
Kisses both of your cheeks and excuses himself.
Just bow her head.
It's right about that point that the door opens behind you, and Zelios sticks his head out of the little camarilla. I believe I have everything prepared. If
Please
you would
come in.
like to join me in here.
Oh, sure.
Quiet.
If it wouldn't imposition, your highnesses.
She'll laugh a little, and just start walking towards the Camarilla.
Jill's just gonna tug on Jack's shirt a little bit and then start moving.
Jack follows.
As you walk into this room, you see that there are fresh blood sigils painted on the wall all the way around the room. Rosalind, I don't even require a roll from you. You are familiar with this. This is sanctity. This is making sure that no listening ears can penetrate this room once the door is closed.
Make a note of that.
As we walk in, if Jill's still tugging on the shirt sleeve, Jack stops at the doorway as soon as he sees the sigils.
Is everything all right?
What is this?
Make sure that. Sorry.
No, it is your domain. Please, I spoke out of turn.
To make sure nobody listens.
Can Hendrik do something like this?
He should. Then
If
he's
he's
worth
worth his weight in your court.
Yes.
Please, come inside. Although admittedly I did not learn blood sorcery from the venerable clan Tremere.
Interesting.
I was owed a favor from Alamut. You all would know that the fortress of Alamut is the hidden secret fortress spoken of in whispers and myth, where it's said that the sons of Assam rule. It is the ancient hidden fortress of the Assamites.
Yeah, Jack probably would have heard that from, like, very little, but from Tareen.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm sure
knowing that,
Rosalind read
Jack
it.
will go in and close the door.
You see, in the center of the room, the heavy, stiffened brown leather tome sits on the table. He says, I believe I have discovered what is making all of our duties much more difficult with these horrible winters, with these floods, droughts, the terrible weather over the last few years.
And what could that be?
Well, I hope you've all taken Sister Gisela's words on the nature of good and evil into account, because I believe this is the work of a demon. A demon buried within the very soil of Transylvania itself.
What do we know of demons? Storyteller.
Yeah, what? Yes.
This would be a intelligence plus occult or intelligence plus theology.
All right, here we go.
This is gonna be
I'm
occult.
writing these 2 dots.
I have 2 dots in occult, and because she's been taking her learning seriously, actually has now 2 dots in intelligence.
Very nice. I had a Nos and an Assamite.
Thank you, Hendrik, for teaching Jill.
Damn. Difficulty of what?
Difficulty of 7, we'll say.
Alright, that
That is
with my
3.
2 dice. With my 2 dice, I got 1 success.
Boom.
3.
Boom, indeed. 3,
Mhm.
2, 3, or 1, 3.
Numbers are
3.
hard.
You said 7?
Math.
Yes, the difficulty is 7.
Yeah, so 3.
So we'll start with Jack, and then I will disseminate the information between Jill and Rosalind as you're at roughly the same level of understanding. Jack, the Christians go on about demons all the time. They are the vague notion of spiritual evil in the world. You've been called a demon a few times.
Yeah.
When you've been out hunting and they've seen your fangs in your eyes before it was your time to strike. But as for what they are the opposite of angels. Is about your current level of understanding.
I'm a
You have
skeezel
a-
at this point.
You have a basic understanding of Christian dynamic. Oh, and Tareen would, as a devout Muslim, would have educated you a little bit on the nature of angels and demons, and that demons definitely exist. The other side, eh.
Perfect.
And then as
Such a
far
great
as
premonition.
Jill and Rosalind,
Lovely sheriff.
you've both heard tell of a secret clan, a foul clan, known as the Bali. Demon-blooded kindred that cavort with devils or infernal power. Devils must be real or the Bali wouldn't exist. And the powers that the Bali are capable of using are mighty as they are terrible. And if that is a mere portion of the power they can bestow, the idea of a demon itself is mortifying.
If this is true, then this is a lot that we need to deal with.
Yes, this is concerning, to say the
I
least.
wouldn't have called you from your domains if I did not think it to be so. Let me be frank. In the brief time that we spent on the road from Budapest to Pass of Tayuta and the basic construction of fortress in which now Prince Volstadt resides,
You should come see it sometime.
I have, you just didn't see. By design. It is imperative that I travel without being seen often, as though I am honored to be a welcome guest in each of your domains, it is not a privilege that I am given all the places that I need to go. Now, that being said, during that brief amount of time that we all spent together, I've come to understand that you are all Cainites of vision. You are Cainites of means. And at the very least, you all understand when to group together against a threat. That the jihad is our fiercest enemy. This silent war that we wage in levying position and power. Don't get me wrong, I do partake in the great game. But there are times when there are more important things brought to the table. And if this book is to be believed, then there is much work to be done.
What is this tome you brought?
It is a church treatise on various pagan religions. It speaks of the ancient gods of the Slavs and the Vlachs.
The Slavs.
I believe we are dealing with the Slavic demon that is called Cupola.
What you said
I-
Slavic? You said Slavic gods, yes?
Yes.
Rosalind,
Yes.
do you think maybe we should let your guest know about your other guest?
Yes. Supposedly, Havnor is paying a visit.
You know, I've known Havnor for time. Or at least known of him. Do you all find it as disturbing as I do when he just pops up out of nowhere and starts screaming?
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
Middle of the street, mobs, torches, pitchforks. Oh,
Hmm.
children.
Before we died, it was
Yes.
ominous and frightening.
He does have a way of being in the right place at the right time, doesn't he?
Jack almost loosed his bowels when we first saw him. She smirks at him.
I died.
I believe the demon Kupala's influence on Transylvania is what is plunging our land into the centuries of conflict and chaos it has been in. Here, perhaps it would just be better to read. And
I would
he opens the
appreciate
book. In places in this book, as he flips through Rosalind, you can see that, well, you can all really see that the rot has began to sink into this book. The pages are slightly moldy in places, in others the water is smeared with ink, obliterating whole passages. He opens to a page, and the passage begins. The first legible word is Svarog, and he reads from there. Svarog, Beelzebub, and the chief among them, the demon god, Kupala, whose offspring infuse the very soil with madness. His dark heart ripped asunder, the demon is said to rest beneath the Carpathians, haunting the land and spreading his corruption to all who touch upon this dreaded demesne.
Beneath.
It is whispered that the demon sleeps, gaining strength to rise in terrible wrath when at last he awakens. His burning malice is seen in the creation of a legendary blood-red bloom known as the sacred fire flower of Kupala. With it, certain aptitude-minded sorcerers may bind or loose demons. The cult dedicated to this abhorrent spirit gifts the demon with sacrifices, slaying babes for their pure and innocent blood which the demon consumes. Thus fortified, Kupala's corruption spreads even farther, trailing lunacy in its wake. The quaking of the earth, the foul rains, lightning that destroy crops and homes, great windstorms that tear the fields and forests asunder, all of these speak with the demon's voice. May God grant that we discover, and from there it becomes illegible.
There's a cat.
Can you do the thing, Rosalind, with the book?
It wouldn't restore it, just keep it from being damaged further.
Might be a good idea to do it regardless, if it's in that condition.
It's
It
true.
has already been performed.
Just beneath the Carpathians.
That's the
So,
question I
like,
had. Caves?
Yeah,
A tomb?
the only people I know that dwell in the land are, well, us and the dragons. So,
You would be surprised, Prince Jack. There are many Nosferatu that dwell in the deep places of the earth.
but I've known better than to tell your secrets.
I don't believe it's a secret. It's just generally not acknowledged for the sake of the rest of the clan's comfort.
Fuck that.
Do you know of...
Apologies.
Jill smiles at that. Do you know of any cave systems that might be housing this demon?
If I did, I don't think I would be here speaking with you. With all due respect. Prince Volstadt.
Well, regardless, this is something we must deal with. And I wonder if our other guest's arrival has any connection to this.
You may have another prophecy to bestow upon us.
I will prepare my ears.
Maybe in the hall. Well, the sound would echo, but maybe in here might be best.
Yes.
So, how did you come up? If you don't mind me asking, Master Zelios, how did you come about this knowledge?
I have been a builder all of my life. This weather has destroyed several of my more promising projects. So I began to look. I asked for aid. In truth, I think it is time that I leveled with you. Every fortress I have built in recent time, in the last few centuries, has been almost a compulsion. I see a place, it feels right, I build a structure. Recently I've been to Egypt to study the architecture there. And why I have marked each of the places I have with the runes that I'm in all truth not entirely sure what they mean. And I discovered something. I discovered the first castle I built many, many years ago. I didn't mark, and it needs mark. And he reaches in his bag and he pulls out a map. He lays it down. This fortress here, this is Fortress of Vintila Basarab. I built it for him many, many years ago. It needs to be marked.
Rob, that name sounds familiar.
Ventila. I haven't seen
Oh,
Ventila or Sherazina in centuries.
Then
Oh, correct.
here, and he puts his finger down on this blank space in the Carpathian Mountains. And Rosalind, your heart sinks immediately. You don't know how, because no one knows. You don't know why, but his finger is upon the precise location that only you know, that is the great black tower of Seorsus. He says, I need to build one here.
That's in the Carpathians, Zelios.
I'm aware.
You were just talking about how underneath the Carpathian. So you found it unintentionally?
I need to build something here, and I need to mark it.
What's driving these compulsions of yours, do you know?
Yes, I'd really like to know that. And why there?
And he looks directly to you, Rosalind. I'm not sure how much I can discuss in present company.
That's really unsettling to say.
I'm not sure what your level of understanding is of the mystic.
Am I being insulted now?
No. You don't want to give up someone else's secret.
Choose to be insulted if you wish, but I'm merely not sure of your level of understanding.
Yes, why there?
And also, what is compulsion? What is compelling him to build these?
Zelios reaches into this satchel bag that he was carrying beneath his robes and pulls out a large rectangular object wrapped in cloth. Pulls the cloth off of it, and it is a large piece of clear crystal, rectangular and thin, with etchings across it. And he lays it down on top of the map. And you see that all of the structures that Zelios have built are all connected by these lines.
Where did you find this?
And there's an intersection where, Rosalind, you know Seorsis to be.
What
I
are
found
those?
this in the crypt of a pharaoh in Egypt.
And you thought it was a good idea to follow it?
May I speak?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm
Master
sorry.
Zelios, I understand, but you need
This,
maybe a moment.
this is my life's work, and I'm only now beginning to understand it. I believe these, in modern parlance, we would call them ley lines. These are convergences of mystical energy beyond my understanding. This tablet that I've procured came with a key. And on that key, I found every single rune I have ever etched into the base of a castle. They are runes of protection. They are runes of binding. And they are runes of raising the power of the land itself. I believe the Samis have a word for this magic. I believe they call it Coldonic sorcery.
Jill's gonna move up closer. Is there any...
Do you believe in destiny? Predestination.
Rosalind's jaw is just clenched. She's not saying anything.
No,
Predestination.
I do not. We make our own destinies. We make our own fates. We survive or we fail. And she's going to try to look. I would like her to see if she's noticing if there's any sort of unique pattern outside of like where they are on the positioned on the map. If these make a unique pattern altogether.
The pattern in and of itself is a bit nonsensical. But you do see intersections of ley lines at Tayuda Pass. You see intersections of ley lines here in Alba Iulia. Yeah, many of the cities across the entirety of Europe, and every single one of them, if there was not a structure there before, Zelios has built one.
She's gonna very as she sees the one at Tayuda Pass, she's gonna very calmly say, "I'm not upset with what I'm about to say, but I must know, did you mark my home?
Of course I did.
Where? So I know."
Deep within its substructure. Somewhere only one who could meld with the earth could get to it.
Storyteller. I seem to remember a book Celestine gave me about ley lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In your
So.
prequel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there you go.
It's all
So.
coming together.
Yup. Obviously, she would have read that. Anything. Any connections I'm getting, anything coming to mind.
You've never seen this ancient of a depiction of ley lines. This is from the 4th or 5th pharaohic dynasty of Egypt.
Wow.
This is several thousands of years before the birth of Christ. And yet, seemingly this map of ley lines predicted the growth of cities. Or someone as old as this tablet predestined these cities to exist there. Your understanding of ley lines is that they are indeed convergences of great mystical energy. Of course, you've always felt that in Seorsis, but Tremere himself resides there, so the gauntlet of mystical energies is rather thin around him. He kind of gets to do what he wants.
Yeah, of course.
And that extends to the Tremere who reside within Seorsis. It is a place where even the most difficult feats of magic are possible. But seeing that it is atop a ley line, not only atop a ley line, but atop a convergence of ley lines, is certainly interesting.
The surrounding area of Seorsis, how habitable or inhabitable? How dangerous is it?
It is uninhabitable. Seorsis is deep within the Carpathians, and so you have to go through some of the wickedest roads and paths to get there.
Transform into a wolf.
And aside from its secrecy, is there any protection? I mean, there obviously is, but what kind of protection is there?
Wards, gargoyles, various ghouls and canine watch posts. Zelio says, although I was not aware of it at the time, I designed and built my dear castles over a geomantic web. My recent sojourn in Egypt has taught me that much. Most of the fortresses lie atop ley lines, carrying with them tremendous powers of the earth. When linked together via certain runes, they shall form a web of power capable of binding Cupola.
Then the obvious answer is
You
to...
made a net. You
That
made
is
a
why
net.
I came here tonight. I've already linked the runes in all of the necessary fortresses. Except for Vintila Basarab's stronghold.
So we must go there then and deal with that.
I don't think
I will teach one of you the runes. I need you to go to Ventila Basaram's castle and make the marks, and I will begin construction at this last convergence.
Would you like us to scout ahead for you first?
No. No, I will need time.
When will you be
Much
setting
time.
off on this?
If hospitality were to be offered, I would leave tomorrow night.
Of course, Master Zelios.
It is appreciated.
Do we know if Ventila, like I said, I haven't seen him since the last time we saw him, actually, altogether. Sent word ahead that we're passing through Esker Hospitality. I don't know if he's been embraced or not. I know there was talk of that at the court.
Where is their keep located?
It is... Give me a moment to do some research.
No problem. That's me asking as a player, not Jill.
Yeah, because we would know because we talked to the Basarabs.
And there's also wondering if any dealings happened at the pass with any of them.
And
Ventila's castle is only about 2 nights' ride north of here in Alba Iulia. Technically, though Ventila is aligned with the princes of the 7 cities, he does have his own sovereign domain as he is part of the Voivodate.
And he doesn't like me.
Although over the last years, it's been quiet. You would have it on good authority, actually, through your contacts at Seorsis, Rosalind, that Ventila is dead.
Who's running his
That he-
keep then?
His grandson, the brother of Sherazina, Dragomir Basarab.
Yeah. You were saying something and I interrupted. What was that?
I don't remember.
I'm so sorry.
it's okay.
So
you're
would
okay.
there, storyteller, would there have been any dealings with them at the pass via through trade, via through any other interactions?
The Basarabs?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No. The Basarabs are a war family. And I think Jill made it abundantly clear that that is not the domain for...
I think Jack might have tried to pass through there once or twice during his hunt.
Yeah, when are you
But
gonna
I
tell
don't
Jill
know.
about that?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
This is...
We gotta keep you safe. It's fine.
Rosalind, there's a knock at the door. To the
You-
Camarilla.
She will, excuse me. And she'll, open it and,
Very quickly, Zelios takes the cloth of the table
Yeah.
and throws it over the book and the map.
and she'll, barely open it so she could squeeze out of it.
You
Yes.
see your blood doll, your retainer, at the door.
She looks a little pissed to be interrupted. Yes.
I'm sorry if it is any disposition. Grace. There is a messenger from Constant. He says it is urgent.
Can you just bring me the message, please?
He says... I had already inquired to that. He said that he is unable to deliver it into the hands of anyone but the Prince Rosalind.
Her patience is wearing very thin. Where is this message?
Please forgive me. He's in the reception. Would you like me to bring him in? At
Yes,
least to the
please.
hall, not this
Yes,
room.
to the hall.
As you say.
She'll just wait by the door. Rosalind will.
A few moments pass before it kind of takes you back.
Mm-hmm.
Dressed in very plain traveling leathers and a sort of drenched cloak. As the hood falls, you see the face of Mika Vikos.
Oh dear. Okay. Rosalind will meet him seeing that, we'll meet him in the center of the room away from the door.
As you exit the room, he bows. And taken aback yet again, here. I am to assume that you are the Lady Rosa Clandremir.
The one and only.
I have first been instructed to speak on behalf of the face that I wear. My master, Mika Vikos, has sculpted me into this form in hopes that you might find this message delightful.
Mm-hmm.
And he holds out a leather pouch. I bring you greetings from my master who bade me deliver this to you. He trusts that you shall act upon his wishes, and I am to await your answer and return with it.
She'll peek inside the pouch.
You see that there is a sealed letter.
Mm-hmm.
And you see something small and wrapped in cloth.
She'll go over to a table, set the bag down, and open the letter.
Says, greetings to you, dearest Prince of Alba, Iulia. You will remember this token, which you agreed to honor. I now request that you aid me as I have assisted you. It is my fervent hope that the duty I ask of you shall not prove too onerous. It has been made known to me that an old acquaintance of mine, that I know that you are familiar with, travels to Transylvania. He has been summoned to the Tremere Chantry known as Seorsis. A form and fortress that rests amongst the Transylvanian Alps.
He'll grip the paper. It crinkles
He is
a little.
alone in this hostile land where so many of my own clanmates would wish to do him ill. Thus, I make my request of you, my dear. Go to Timisoara, to the crypt beneath the chapel of the Holy Sepulchre, where my own agents shall make certain he awaits your coming. Though clever, they lack a Canaanite's powers and stamina. Guard him through these dangerous lands and escort him to this chantry I know you know so well, as the both of you know the way to Seorsis. And he has been commanded to appear there. I would not like to see him fall before my Simis kin. That would be far too lenient a punishment for one such as he. No, with your help, he shall not escape attending upon your shared usurper brethren. It is my great hope that you understand me clearly, and I offer you my thanks. Should you accept, your debt to me is paid. with fun, Mika of the House of Vika. And it takes no role that even through all of its travel, you can smell the scent of Mika's perfumes upon this letter. Pleasant. It smells of dates and ocean breeze.
Yeah. Storyteller, because my I would fail a saw trap because my auditory. Can you summarize the letter in simpler terms?
Mika is saying that he's calling in your debt to him.
Mm-hmm.
That an old acquaintance of his is traveling to Transylvania.
Yes.
He has been called to Seorsis.
Okay.
Mika wants you to meet his agents in the city of Semisera,
Right.
beneath the Chapel of the Holy Sepulchre.
Yep.
Where the handoff of this acquaintance of his that has been summoned to Seorsis will be waiting for you in the care of Mika's own agents. He wants you to make sure that he gets to Seorsis and receives judgment from the Tremere, and that he is not waylaid by the Semis on the road.
Okay.
We got an escort mission.
Yep, we got an escort mission. But I'm so unhappy.
Unhappy
This
from a message
implies
from
that
Mika?
this implies that there is at least one Semis, Mika Vikos, that knows where Seorsis is.
And thank you for that. I appreciate it.
There is still the matter of the small wrapped in cloth object. Yes.
Yeah, she'll look at that now.
It is the other half of that twisted gold ring set with the carved rubies.
Yep. Okay. A lot to talk to Celestine about. Okay.
Some weird flirting happening.
K-night flirting.
I don't know if...
Look, hey, my ghoul, this is my face.
I don't know if vampires, are capable of, trembling. Sure. But she's, stressed. And she will fold the letter and put everything back in its pouch, but be holding it. She'll keep it. And, she will go over to the messenger. And she will say, I grant you hospitality for the eve. I will give you a clear answer as soon as possible, if that is okay with you. And your master.
I am to wait here until you give your answer, and thus I find no quarrel with your judgment, my friend. I accept your hospitality with gracious heart.
Thank you.
And I am to avail myself to any needs that you would have.
Find my retainer that escorted you into here, and she will take care of you.
As you say. And he politely dismisses himself from the chamber. As that was going on,
yes,
the two gangrel in the Camarilla with Zelios.
Mm-hmm.
I got her. I need to. Oh, jeez. I thought Rosalind was going to rejoin us. I have a perfect line for the re-entry, and I got to remember it. But okay, yes.
All right, you'll remember it by the time we get back to it.
Zelios looks at the two of you. Is it wrong of me to believe that I don't feel trusted by the two of you?
I have no.
Do you trust me,
you,
Princess?
Zelios?
There's no reason to trust or untrust. Distrust.
I see your mastery of language has begun to improve.
I had a good tutor.
Oh, I wasn't talking about you.
I had a good tutor, and I sent it along.
Well, I got mine from Rosalind, Hendrik. Yes. He is teaching me a lot.
When you said you have no reason to trust me, that's not entirely true now, is it? I could have let your carriages burn on the way to Tayo to Pass, but I put them out.
You did.
Fair enough.
I didn't have to help build that fortress. At least not for you.
No.
I would have built it eventually. In fact, I believe you owe your very princedoms to my intervention. I think that's all the more reason to trust me, don't you?
Sounds more like you're trying to garner a favor, but fair enough.
I don't need favors from upstart.
Master Zelios.
Princes or not, I would defer respect to you in your domain, but we are not in your domain, are we? So now we can speak candidly. And I know the two of you are very, very apt to candid speech. So go on, get it out.
I said my piece. You are correct. I am very candid. So candid that I already spoke what I was going to think.
We talked of my seneschal. Well, I talked. You left.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. It's an unfortunate bit of... It bonds us, in a way.
Jill's hyper-focusing.
Your seneschal was a grandchild of mine.
Where is
So I take the offense personally.
Jill's going to reach up and grab at Jack's shirt, but not say anything just yet.
He's gone, Jack. And it's best to leave it there.
No, no.
What
It
they
is
turn
only-
them into is not what they were anymore.
And
Let it go, lest its fire consume you.
And it's at this point that Jill will look up to Jack with a very concerned look on her brow and say, "It seems, brother, there's some things you have not been telling me. What has happened?"
Oh, I think that street goes both ways, Princess Juliana, the House of Volstadt. I don't believe it would be received kindly by all kindred and canine ears to know that you've been cavorting with Lupine.
What?
It was a way to keep...
Tread very carefully. Because now we've entered a space where I don't know if I can trust either of you. And that is much more dangerous than you not being able to trust me.
Rosalind, there's going to be some violence about to happen in your home.
So let us be candid.
My people are disappearing, and I wanted it to stop.
You are consumed with rage, and it is understandable. It also makes you unreliable. You are cavorting with our sworn blood enemies, and I am supposed to trust you.
The little simplest way of putting that, but...
Is it so? Oh, enlighten me as to the nuance of dealing with bloodthirsty animals.
It was a way to ensure that at least some protection was kept within the forests of my domain, lest more people die unnecessarily. I'm not an unkind, heartless being. Do I trust them? No. Do I allow them their free reign within my domain, no. But an accord had to be struck if my people were to survive.
That's always been your problem, Juliana. You try to do everything yourself. You're not capable. You're using the lupines as a crutch, not to fight your own fucking war. Your coterie is 4 of the 7 princes of Transylvania. You have allies within the Voivodate. You have allies within the city of Constantinople. For one of the children of Arnulf, I would have never thought I would have saw a wolf turn tail from battle.
Mm.
Oh,
I need you both desperate. But I also need to trust you. I don't say these things to offend or imposition. I
Jack's putting a hand on Jill's shoulder.
say what I'm saying so we can all be very clear about where we stand. I find without that clarity, it is easy to mistake goodwill for manipulation. So let us find clear and common ground to stand on. I need you to give me something that will allow me to trust you.
Jill removes her signet ring.
Not a physical thing, I don't. So
It's not how the
perhaps I
Nosferatu
misspoke.
work.
I
Said
need a
give you
reason.
something.
I need a reason to trust you. Because if not, fucking demon is going to make maniacs of us all.
If my efforts within the past, lupine-related aside, have not proven my desire for protection of the people of all Canite society under us, then I don't know what else I can do. I have you say I run from battle. I defended alongside my wolves the pass from several invaders, would-be or not. The protection of all of us is vital and important to me. That should be enough for you.
It isn't. Because conveniently where you are placed, protecting yourself can very easily be covered as protecting everyone. You're the entryway to Transylvania. So protecting your own interests can easily be obfuscated for anyone. And again, I say this not to drive and not to chide, but I'm not sure you would even know the fucking difference.
Jill's just at this moment just staring him down. She is getting very upset.
May I enter?
Door opens.
Again, squeezing in, making sure no one would see.
Damn it.
Yeah, nope.
I had such a good line for this too, but the mood for saying it was gone.
Yeah,
That's
Jack's just gonna look at Zelios.
I could have just left. Let the city consume itself.
Again, too easily obfuscated as protecting your own interest.
Sounds more like paranoia.
No, Zelios is right. If we want power, control, the older we get. I've seen it. I did it because someone had to be in charge. I could have let it be someone else. So yes, I did. I picked myself. It got someone I care about hurt. Killed, in a way. So. But I stayed, I didn't. I left for a while. I did. But I came back.
Where?
Came back and did what needed to be done.
We can suspend this conversation.
Yes, I think we all need time. It would
We
seem.
still have someone we need to speak with, because if he's here, I want to hear what he has to say.
Quite, let's be done
So,
with
like,
this.
Rosalind, that is, I'm not the prince here. You are. Would you mind if I spoke with your guest?
Of course, we will all speak with our guest. Our guest.
I will clean things up here in the meantime.
Like I said, you have my hospitality. Whatever you need.
Tend to make use of it.
Jill's gonna leave first. He's storming out.
As you're all exiting the room, the door from the reception area bursts open,
Oh, good.
God.
and you see the tall, well-muscled man, his unkempt, bushy red beard and wild, uncombed red hair. His blue eyes seem to glow with power. He wears a brown tunic and old-style cross-gartered leggings. Over the tunic, there's a poorly fitting Roman breastplate. And in his left hand again, he carries his spear. As Dominic walks in behind him, shaking his head, he says, "Forgive me, my lady. I could keep him out no longer."
Quite all right. Thank you, Dominic, for hosting him for that time.
The Cainite that you now know as Octavio looks over all of you intently, his eyes scanning. Many moments, quiet. Before finally,
Jill's bracing.
he slams the butt of the spear down on the ground. Hear me. Though I long ago warned you, thou hast done nothing to quell the demon's will. The first of the signs has already seen fulfillment, and yet you wait. Will you remain idle while the land's heart is ripped from bleeding chest? Do you not see that the eternal night is almost upon us? Stirs, and with him the ancient ones groan upon their stony beds, their hunger shrieking for our vitae. The loss of a holy land, the breaking of a holy order, the downfall of a mighty magus. The sign has come, the first of those that will lead to the ever blackness and death eternal. You stand within the whirlwind. 7 more remain. What cannot be stopped must be transformed. On you rests our redemption or destruction. You will not fail me again.
Fail you.
And at that, you hear the bloody snap as he convulses so hard his spine snaps. And he falls onto the floor, spasming, blood, like a bloody froth pooling out of his mouth.
Is that supposed to happen?
Rosalind's just kind of.
He's just convulsing on the ground, and Dominic looks over him. No, that's new.
Should we
Before you hear again, as the bones concatenate and force themselves back into place, and Octavio sits up.
He's so creepy, I'm sorry.
And just looks around.
Jack is just like almost leaning down.
Octavio?
And, forgive me, I... And he looks up to Dominic. What? Where am I?
That's not good.
Jack's
No.
gonna step to the side so he can see Rosalind.
Yeah,
Dominic nods and he kneels. He says, Octavio, you remember me? We are old friends. And Octavio nods. Of course, Dominic, you are my dear friend. Yes. And this is... Octavio looks up to Rosalind. You are the prince. Forgive me, there is blood. My mouth, I am not clean. Why aren't I? Just took a bath. Why aren't I?
Rosalind would take a step forward after she kind of found her decorum and say, "That's quite all right. Yes, you are in Alba Ayuda, my domain."
And he looks at Dominic and he says, Belgrade. And Octavio nods. And what is the year? What is the year that it is?
What is the year?
It is currently the year 13.
Jack is asking the rest of the group. He's not keeping track.
1314.
13, 14.
He looks up to
Oh,
Dominic.
that's 10 years.
Dominic just puts a hand on his shoulder and helps him up. It's quite all right, Octavio. Go on, introduce yourself. And Octavio bows. He says, I am Octavia. The village I live in, it is called Obada.
Jill's gonna approach him.
When I was born there, it was called Aquinum.
Jill's gonna approach him, and she's going to say, "You know who I am?"
No.
You don't remember seeing me before while I was mortal?
No, that's possible.
If
It's not possible.
It's
Dominic
nice.
kind of holds his hand up to both of you and says, it's all right, Octavio. You've been asleep for a long time. And he just kind of gives both of you a pointed look.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Octavio, of Clan Malkavian.
Yes.
Jack's looking to Dominic. Okay.
Rosalind, do you happen to have anything that our friend here could eat after
Yes.
his experience?
Dominic kind of looks between all of you. He says, my friend Octavio is a sign reader. He interprets portents of the future. And Octavio nods. I was bathed in the river. I know the sign. I know the signs.
Why don't you have a seat?
Yes, please sit. Whatever you need.
Sits down. He just sort of looks around. He looks like a fledgling, in a way. Wide-eyed wonder at the world around him.
Nothing of the man that we saw so many times already.
He looks up at Dominic. He says, Dominic, I shaved yesterday. Why do I have a beard? Dominic smiles. Remember, old friend, we go back to the way we were when we wake up. So, right, yes. This is... I do remember. Why am I so dirty, Dominic?
Oh.
Dominic smiles. Well, been sleepwalking. The world is very place, my old friend. Octavio smiles. Nothing like Aquia.
The roads we
And
travel
Dominic
are
nods.
rarely clean.
Dominic looks to you. Perhaps I should find accommodations for our guest.
Yes, he has my hospitality.
And he kneels down in front of the chair. Octavio, would you do me the distinct honor of sharing a haven with me? Octavio nods. Yes, I would like that very much. Sure. Dominic, I am so hungry. Dominic nods. It's been some time since you've come. I will show you the path. And Dominic takes Octavio by the arm and escorts him out.
The frustration that had been on Jill's face after exiting the Camarilla and seeing Octavio and then starting to listen to everything melted the second that he started acting like this. Now it's just pity and empathy. And she's just going to look to Rosalind after that display, after they depart, and she's going to say, have you seen anything like that before, either of you?
I can't.
You hear from behind you. I didn't mean to drop eaves, but you did leave the door open a crack. That was interesting. The loss of the Holy Land, the Levant, we failed in the Crusade in 1291. The breaking of the Holy Order, the burning of the Knights Templar. The downfall of a mighty Magus, though. Not familiar with that.
It hasn't happened yet.
There is another line. That was a quote. That bit I've read. It is a portion of the Book of Nod.
Would I?
You know
Yeah,
what the Book of Nod is?
Didn't
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
hear
yeah.
that when we were excavating
Oh,
from
maybe.
Anatoly?
Yes, Anatoly
Yeah.
did mention the Book of Nod.
Yes, he did. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Brain.
Look, Jack's got all the
Hey, I
wits.
forget
It's
to.
the intelligence that he has an issue.
That's why
This,
I'm adding the dots in intelligence so I can help make up for Jack and Jill's. We gotta have the
Yeah.
balance between us.
He just pays attention. It's like, yeah, no, Anatoly mentioned this.
Right, he
the
did.
following passage, at least in the portion that I possess.
It is.
The passing of years and the fires of the righteous shall bring upon the parting of kin one from the other. The children shall revile their parents, slaying them in their beds, and brother shall smite brother.
Is that the jihad though?
I'm not an interpreter, I'm just a collector.
It's funny. I've heard that before.
I'm sure you have. Again, I
So-
didn't mean to eavesdrop.
I didn't close the door.
I figured you were right behind us.
It appears we're on a time frame of some sort.
Quite. We should get moving.
How
I
many hours left in the night? I don't know. I don't
About
really
4.
keep track anymore. We got 2 days travel to Basarab's domain.
Storyteller, can I have not come alone on this?
Who were you thinking of bringing?
Marishka, my scout and messenger.
I don't see why not.
Good. I will. Jill will look to Rosalind and Jill, or and Jack, and say, I will send word to the pass and let them know that I will be gone for longer. I'm sure Scylla will miss me more, but this
Jack
can't be
gets a weird
avoided.
look on his face.
They won't even know I'm gone.
I will go ahead and excuse myself to my chambers for thee. Forgive my unintended eavesdropping.
quite all right. Thank you for everything, Zelios.
Safe passage and travel to the Carpathians. Watch out for the wolves.
Jill
Jill.
grin at that.
Rosalind
It's
will
not a
grit her teeth
threat,
again.
it's an actual.
I do actually have a question for you, Jack.
Yes.
Was my dear old friend received with your letter well?
What do you mean?
The messenger that I sent with your invitation, was he received well?
He was. A long journey though. Maybe next time send him in a carriage. He talked of his feet being tired.
Well, he's 350 years old, his feet should be.
And with all the weather, you really should. Maybe.
And you see the
carriage.
rat pokes out of Zelios's robe.
That's the messenger.
Duh.
I'm glad you made it back safe.
As I am glad you did not find your death on the road yet. You are fun, you give cheese.
I'm going to need to keep that to yourself, otherwise I'm going to have people showing up that shouldn't.
Jill
And
just stand
Zelios
right next
looks
to him.
looks over to the rat. He gave you cheese. And the rat. If rats could smile.
No.
And he just burrows back into Celius's clothes.
I don't
And the two
know
of them
if he speaks
abscond into the deeper reaches of the castle. Leaving the three of you alone.
I don't know who you have on your household, but if we get a carriage, had them trade off shifts, we could get there sooner rather than later. I don't know how long it takes you to set up.
Rosalind looks deep in thought. Yes, I can. I can. Yes,
Are you
a retinue.
I know that was a lot between Zelios and Octavio, which it's nice to have his name now.
Is Rosalind still trembling?
No, she's just deep in thought.
Rosalind, I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
If you feel a knocking on your mental door, do you open it or keep it shut?
Is this knocking common?
Moderately.
Okay. She'll open.
You feel like cool spring water is rushing over your mind. It is calming, if not a bit chilly. As you hear Celestine's voice in your mind. Speak to me before the day sleep takes you. You know the ritual. There are words we need.
Rosalind would just swallow again. In her mind. Can you hear? I wouldn't know this. Can I respond?
Yeah, you are permitted a response. Yes.
Okay. Of course, sire.
As that took place at the speed of thought, please continue your conversation.
Yes. I will organize a retinue. I have business to attend to before the day sleep.
Feel free to leave at sunset, or would you prefer to leave now? Save them some time, given our warning.
Can't leave quite yet.
Scolding.
Might I, before we go to a quick break, might I speak to your common sense merit very quickly?
Please do.
Rosalind?
Please do.
It will take Zelios weeks, if not months, to travel to this place where he needs to build something.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't want him to get there, perhaps picking up your charge in Simisura and going with Zelios may be the better option to deter him from anything untoward.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I will give that. Or speak to Celestine about that. Thank you.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll see you guys all on the other side. Hello and welcome back. There's that break was probably longer than you'll ever see, but don't even trip about it because we're here now. As we left off in our vampire story, Dominic and Octavio had made their way out of the room, leaving what is assembled of the coterie minus our dearest sister Gisela. alone in the audience chamber of Alba Iulia, the city formerly known as Balgrad, where the Prince Rosalind of Clan Tremere holds her court. And so in that way, I will go ahead and turn the spotlight over to the vampires in question. You are now alone.
How do you want to go about this, Rosalind? Do you have a carriage we could use? I just brought me and my retainer.
I also came here as I came here as a wolf, with my messenger. She says very proudly, does a little shuffle and winks over at Jack.
Jack looks very proud. And then remembers the wife and scowls.
Yes, a carriage. A retinue. A caravan. Yes, I can set that up.
Are you alright, Rosalind?
You do look a little shaken.
I'm okay.
Alright.
I will.
Are you sure there's nothing that we can do to help?
I'll let you know. I need to speak. I need counsel tonight. And
with us?
tomorrow evening. No.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow evening, I'll have everything settled.
Alright, so we'll leave tomorrow evening.
Yes.
Sounds good
What
to me.
about your other guest?
Zelios?
With? Yes.
Yes.
Well,
I believe so. I believe that'd be the best course of action.
He had some disturbing things to say to Jack and myself about trust.
I'll ask for you.
with gay nights in general.
Yeah.
From my time away. It is good to see you, Rosalind. Sorry it's been so long.
Quite.
No. This has been very pleasant. Well.
I mean...
Has it?
Us, together, pleasant, yes, but not so much with your guests.
Speaking about that, do either of you know, like, what was his deal? Like, he seemed possessed.
Oh, I think it might be his blood.
Mm-hmm. Seems he was different for many, many years.
But I don't know. I'm not him.
We've only seen him as he was originally, like, with the come, O children. She even shivers a little bit as she says those words.
Yeah.
As long as your Primogen has eyes on him, it shouldn't be a problem.
No, I trust Dominic. No, I trust Dominic with this.
I will also meet with my messenger, Marishka. She came with me. I assume you both know her well already. I have sent her to your domains before.
Yes.
I will send word to the pass that I will be not coming home anytime soon. I'm pretty sure Scylla would be upset at me, but there is nothing that we can do about that. Something the matter, Jack?
Oh, I have nothing to say. I don't know her. But back at not home, but home, things are handled. I can be away for a brief time.
I have a good Primogen council I trust, so I should be okay.
Good.
Do you have a room for us to rest in?
Of course, you have my hospitality.
Thank you.
It's very good. Prince Rosalind.
Please. Of course.
So-
Do you have someone I can also use to write a letter?
Oh,
Or
yes,
do
of
you
course.
want to? I just wanted to make sure Gisela knows what's going on since she couldn't be present for the meeting.
Right, we should send word to Sister Gisela.
It is sad that she couldn't join us today.
I was looking forward to seeing all of you, but her as well.
Likewise. I had hoped to talk about matters with her. But those can wait.
I had hoped to see another friendly face. It's been too long since I've seen one.
It's at that point that Jill is going to look very sad and then walk over to Jack, and then for the first time today, actually, instead of just like grabbing, she's gonna hug him.
Yeah. Jack will wrap his arms around.
We have much to talk about, but
Yes, we
take
do.
it away. Go take care of what you need to take care of, little wolf.
She's going to like playfully snarl a little bit at that, and then she's gonna say yes before turning to Rosalind and giving a slight bow of her head and say, "Prince Rosalind."
Prince Jill.
And with that, Jill will depart.
I can set you up with my seneschal to write a letter.
I appreciate it. My seneschal usually handles all of that for me.
Likewise.
As you say. Each of you departs for your chambers. And we'll go ahead and the first chamber that we will pan into is, of course, being the prince of the domain. We'll peek into Rosalind's chamber.
Rosalind shuts the door. She doesn't go to her bedroom. She goes to where she contacts Celestine. A room that is private and far from prying ears. And she will begin her ritual of contacting her sire.
As you begin the ritual, it will cost you a point of blood.
Mm-hmm.
As you empty your vitae into the prepared ritual bowl, lighting the candles in a specific formation. I won't make you make a roll in this moment. As it alights, you feel your perception hold into this bowl of vitae. You feel yourself standing in that dark space, that inky void, alone. You think you're alone for a moment before you hear, "It has been some time, my pretty."
She's looking down. She's not making eye contact.
You have been avoiding me, little dead thing.
You're not real.
I am as real as you are. I am you, Rosalind.
She'll actually look.
And do you see the ancient, the hag, crippled by the way the years have crumbled her form, dragging herself on lame legs, her claws sinking into this inky blackness to pull herself across this invisible surface that you find yourself standing upon. Don't you see what we have become? Feeble, listless. You have done this to us, my girl.
It wasn't me.
The moment you hear, what wasn't you, my darling?
Celestine.
Yes. So? Curious about what goes on in the domain of Alba Iulia. One hears things, my dear child. One hears things.
What have you heard?
I'd like to hear what you would like to tell me before I tell you what I've heard.
So much. So much. Master Zelios has come to visit, set up a meeting with the former Coterie, the princes of their domains. Jack, Jill, Gisela wasn't present. Zelios, has some map, ley lines, all the structures he's built. He wants to build where Seorsis is.
Well, that would not... I think that he would find someone has already built there.
He would, although I don't know how to keep him from going.
Yes, you do. The question is, do you lack the courage to uphold your conviction or not?
No, of course not.
Well then, if you would not like to slay the Master Mason, provide me an alternative.
I have none. Not yet, anyway.
It is now that I find hard to believe. I have been very deliberate in shaping your mind into one that seeks solutions. So
You
seek.
have. Yes, of course. As well, there's something else.
Please.
Mika Vikos wrote to me,
Is that all?
calling on a favor. I am to escort some associate of his to be judged by the Tremere at Seorsis. He knows.
Well, that is troublesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring that to the council and see what can be done, but it sounds like your solution is laying right in front of your very eyes. You just refuse to see it. Or you've been blinded by the politics of Alba Iulia for too long. Perhaps it is time to open your eyes again.
Any counsel you have. I'm admittedly floundering.
Tell Zelios you will accompany him to the site. Bring this associate of Mika of the House of Vikos, and I will have a delegation meet you upon the road. Any information that the Master Mason might have about that area, he can pass on to this delegation. Come up with a way to have that information be enough to sate the Master Mason, or I'll have to send someone who even Master Zelios will not be able to refuse.
Of course.
making this move and knowing that this move was done by you for the protection of Seorsus will be valuable to the council's opinion of you, Rosalind. Please don't make a muck of it.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Of that I am aware. I'm less concerned about you and more concerned about your coterie mates. But Aristotle de Laurentiis assured me that the two gangrel have flourished in the years past.
Seems that way.
So, perhaps they shall not be so much of a burden upon your political angles as I think they might be.
We shall see.
Sure. There is one thing that I require from you.
Yes. Anything.
There has been talk amongst the council. Now that you have been instrumental in establishing our legitimacy as a clan, it has been suggested that perhaps you take part in a blood marriage. I'm doing my best to quiet such whispers. You are worth much more than any poor sap they could saddle me with. But the council is moving to make more permanent alliances. One of the names that has come up is Edraig Arpad. It would marry the Tremere's power to that of the Arpad Ventrue. If you can find a way to gain their alliance without this flippant talk of a blood marriage, I think that would be mutually beneficial.
Absolutely.
Good. Very well then. I've discussed all that I need to discuss. Is there anything you would like to say?
She'll look down and almost look like she wants to say something, but then she'll look back up. I think I've told you everything.
I digress a moment. Did you say that the one that is to be summoned, the one that you are procuring, has been summoned to Seorsus?
It was just in the letter, if I'm not mistaken, storyteller. In the letter, he's rather to be judged by the Tremere than his own Semis.
That's what Mika said, but he did say that this asset has been summoned to Seorsus.
Yes, okay. Yes, in the letter he did say he was summoned.
Yeah.
There is only one who has received the blood summons. Keep your wits about you, child.
Did you tell me who it is?
Garatrix. He's been summoned to stand trial against the Inner Council for counts of sedition. Garatrix has been known to frequent Constantinople, which would make some sort of sense that he was an associate of the House of Vicos. This is troublesome. Now, with the fact that Mika reportedly knows where Seorsus is, this could only add validity to the sedition of Garatrix.
Yes.
I will be
And-
sending a delegation on the road. I will not be sending. No, that is hardly the word. I will bring it to the council, and the council will have representatives meet you on the road.
Absolutely.
Be careful. And do not listen to a God's damned word that traitor says to you.
I will not.
Very well. I await news of your endeavors.
You'll be the first I tell.
Precisely. Then the dawn comes swiftly. Find your rest, and we shall speak in the future.
Yes. Lovely rest of your evening, Celestine. Sire.
Sire. As the connection cuts. The last of the steaming red vitae evaporates from the bowl into this red mist in the air that dissipates.
She'll pull up and be trembling again. And she will start to abscond, but realize she has to clean up. And just not absentmindedly, like, try to busy her hands with cleaning up.
As you clean up the scene of your ritual, the camera will pan over to the Princess Juliana of the House Volstadt as Mariska is sitting on a little side stool in your quarters. So what exactly are you wishing for me to do?
Jill is feverishly writing on parchment for Mariska. She's going to say, I need you to go home and bring word to Scylla. She is to be in charge for a bit longer than anticipated. I am needed on an important task.
As you say. I will do this.
It is very vital that you get this letter to her, she says if she finishes placing the dot on there, on it, folding the letter up after letting the ink dry.
I refuse to acknowledge failure. It will be done.
I trust you. You've never let me down before, but that being said, I believe it is time that we finish my offer to you.
And that is?
Becoming one of mine, gaining some of my power. We have already begun the process, but the importance of this demands further strength.
Sure. I am in no position to refuse you, nor would I do so.
You still
Decant your, what do you call it, vitae? Decant it and I will drink.
Very well, but you do know that this is still your choice.
My prince, I grew up hunting hares in the woods for barely enough food to feed my brothers and sisters. I understand the gesture it is you are trying to make, but it is silly to think I have another option.
I understand exactly what you mean. And she's going to stand at that, using wax and her signet ring to seal an envelope with the missive inside and, pressing her signet ring into it, letting it cool for a second before handing it to Mariska. And then she will say, "Kneel before me."
Does?
And Jill will bring her wrist up to her mouth, bite in, drawing her vitae, and then lowering it down to Mariska. She's going to say, "Drink."
As you command. And she drinks from your wrist. So many storytellers focus on the feeling that it is to receive kindred vitae, that inimical ecstasy, that transcendental pleasure. But very few focus on what it is to be giving of that vitae. Jill, as you feel, first sensation is, well, I imagine since you've embraced Scylla, one of the few times that you've felt warm lips on your skin, touched by life, a living creature. It's bittersweet. In one way, it is one of the more intimate experiences of all of kindred kind, all of Cainite kind at this time. But it's also bittersweet. You're reminded of a time where your lips were warm and pliant. And then the sapping of a little bit of your strength. And that coiling up of the hunger inside of you. So I'll make it your choice on how many points of blood you allow Mariska to drink. Of course, one would be enough to complete the blood bond. This is the third time she's drank from you.
Got you.
But if you really want her to be strong, you could give her more.
And Jill
It
will.
would keep her strong for the few nights that she would need to get to where she's going.
Jill will. Since I haven't had to use much of my blood at all yet during this session, that I'm full on blood points that I had.
Sure.
As somebody new to V20, how many points of blood would she need to get to the higher tier? Just 2, or is there more specifically?
2, so she is currently a ghoul.
Mhm.
A ghoul can hold up to about 8 points of blood. A normal human is only about 6.
Understood.
With feeding her this, you've brought her to 5.
Let's bring her to. Oh, so the one point that would be necessary to add brought her to 5.
Correct.
Yeah, I'll feed her the full 4 points. Let's get her full up.
She drinks and drinks deeply. Of course, it's only superficial, but you do feel the strength wane from you. Bleeds out of you slowly, and with the sound of the suckling at your wrist, the hunger roils within you. As you hear that deep rumbling voice of your own hunger.
They called us little for so long.
She's trying to ignore it.
A little no longer. And we will feed when we wait.
Yes. She'll
It's
just.
finally he stops drinking.
Thank you, Marishka. You have my gratitude for taking this task upon yourself.
And it was less of me taking it upon myself and more of sorry. Still getting used to the
Yes.
feeling. You asked it of me, and I would do anything for you.
There's a little bit of a touch of sadness to Jill because she knows the full breadth of what that means. And she's just going to say, I know. And I appreciate it. And she's going to help her stand back up. But we cannot tarry.
Yeah.
We will talk more about this when I see you next. I promise.
Yeah, I will go and get a horse. And,
Let yourself
start the
settle
journey.
first for a moment. Let yourself settle. Let yourself breathe. Take it in. Feel it. Embrace it. And then make your way when you feel ready.
She sits for about an hour or so before she dismisses herself from your company and
I would like to let you know the
heads.
context of that letter really quick because.
Yeah, send it to me.
Send it to you? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure, perfect. And then from there, the camera will pan out to the knocking at the door in the quarters that Prince Jack of Sigizora finds that he is resting in.
Jack had gone to go find the seneschal, realized he had no idea who that was, and went to his room to wait. So he's been waiting, and as soon as that first knock hits, he's up at the door and opens it.
You see a beautiful dark-haired woman, very Spanish features, standing at the door. It says, "Am I to understand that you are the one who needs the help with the letter?"
Am I to understand you are Rosalind Seneschal?
Ana Isabel Madrid. At your service, please. May I come in?
Of course. Jack. Jack will open the door, kind of gesture.
As she enters, Jack, I don't even require a roll. One of the first things you notice is that as she passes a mirror, there's no reflection. As she makes her way to the writing desk in the room. What is it that you need transcribed?
I have 2 letters I need to have sent out. The first one is to the Coterie mate, Gisela.
Very well. Speak your words and have them written.
Dear Prince, sorry to have missed you. I have some questions about things I know not of. When you are able, I would like to meet. Jack.
She finishes it and she
So
takes the
by-
candle
At the
And-
end, I need one more line. The weather. What did she? The weather has become incumbent.
Very well. She takes the candle, waves the flame over top of the ink to dry it very quickly. Sits it down, rolls it up, ties a string around it, hands it to you.
Thank you. The second letter. Just to my seneschal to let him know I will be gone for a while.
Speak your words and have them written.
Seneschal, I'm going to be gone for at least a fortnight. Any news of my hunt, send along to Rosalind's domain. Jack.
Again, she takes the candle, waves the flame over it, ties it up, hands it to you. You would not happen to be Prince Jack of Zimisara, huh?
It depends on why you're asking me this, but I am, but
In truth, I would owe you a bit of a favor for the answer. If that would make you more amenable to the asking of the questions.
more it has to do with I don't want to step on Rosalind's toes, or I'm going to do that later, and I don't want it to be more of an issue.
No. You would be doing Rosalind a favor.
Jack sits down.
So, Rosalind a favor. What is going on with Rosalind?
It is... As all things that happen here in Alba Iulia, it is not Rosalind's real concern. It is that we have reached a bit of an impasse in my particular domain of duties.
Technically, everything that happens in the city is the prince's business.
Precisely. This is what I mean. I have run into a bit of an issue with my clanmates. I'm sure you've heard there has been a great schism amongst the La Sombra. I am running into a bit of a capital flow problem.
Capital.
And of course, as the seneschal, this cannot be allowed to occur. You understand?
Capital flow. What is it like that? Is Rosalind broke?
No. By no means.
I would like to insight check the seneschal.
Sure.
This is amazing.
Sure,
This is amazing.
Give me a wits and insight at a difficulty of 8.
Luna, just sell some of your tapestries.
My Toreador Primogen would never.
Uh-huh.
It's true. You can't go against Toreador Primogen.
But-
they're scary.
But survival, basic survival.
She's literally obsessed with tapestries. That's why we have them. Yeah. That's like her thing.
I love that.
You said wits and empathy?
Yeah. Empathy or insight?
Your Toreador would hate my place.
Let's go with empathy.
Empathy will give you a look into their motivations personally. Insight will give you a look at whether she's telling the
We're
truth.
gonna go with empathy because
empathy's
she
fine.
talked about her clan, and I want to see if I can use that with love. You said 8.
Yes.
Okay, 4. 5.
So, you have heard that there has been a schism within the La Sombra, specifically because some of the La Sombra took it upon themselves to diablerize their antediluvian.
Oh.
And their personal motivation behind what they're saying, you do get the distinct feeling that they're navigating that very thin line between telling the truth and not admitting everything. Rosalind herself is not broke by any means. The domain is, you get the feeling the domain is running into some financial issues.
So Rosalind's okay. This person's not. Alright. Okay. And I will let her continue.
What I would ask of you is that some advice, perhaps. What have you done to make Sigisara so profitable? I've heard that your domain has done very well in recent times.
So what you're wanting is advice.
See,
And that's worth something to you.
it is worth a major boon. Yes.
Alright. Major boon. Major boon, and I give you the secrets of running a successful domain.
I am not having trouble with the success. It is that the flow of coin from the La Sombra to the church has been disrupted. And as I'm sure you could tell from the cathedral here in Alba Iulia, we have maintained a very loving relationship with Rome, but without the coin purses of certain Cainite parishioners, we find ourselves in a bit of a bind.
I don't deal much with the church. Let's start with that. I find they take too much off the top. Or at least that's what my seneschal was showing me when we first started.
The mortals take a bit off the top, but
But
laundering coinage through Cainite coin purses. If I could make any suggestion, if you have religious Cainites within your domain, setting up a hand in the church's coffer is not always a poor decision.
no, but personally, don't deal with it. The last time I went in, it ended bloodily. So I have other people deal with it for me.
Understood.
But you have to take care of the cattle, because you have to think about how it affects everything else. You have hungry people, they start causing more problems, which leads to more crime, which leads to more having to fix buildings, which means paying the nos more, and they will gouge you.
Oh, have I noticed? Our
Also,
Nosferatu Primogen and I have a unique relationship.
is that right?
I have things they want, and they can't stop being a bitch about it.
See, so here's the thing. Don't pay for things in coin that you can pay for with information.
Understood.
If you take and you start putting the money towards your cattle, which it upsets some of the younger Cainites when you start talking about people like cattle. So maybe start with that.
We do not have many young Cainites here in Alba Iulia.
Maybe start getting more young Cainites. I've got a lot of them. I find it easier
We prefer to sequester our younglings to the clan Tremere.
the students. Yes.
Outside of that, we find it is better for our relationship with one another to keep the median age of the Cainites in this city higher, if you will.
I'm just telling you what I've done. If you teach the young early enough, they don't make as many mistakes when they get older. And the ones that do, well, you get rid of them.
Understood. Is there a specific... We are centrally located. Perhaps if we could ask that you ship some trade this direction, and we could open a more equitable line of trade between Sigisara and Alba Julia.
I'd be more than happy to entertain the idea.
Very good. Then, since I am the seneschal, I acknowledge my debt to you in the presence of the seneschal. And when you call upon me, I will answer.
What
I
do
will
you
take
know
up
about
an... Oh, no, you are ready to ask so early. Go on.
The night is waning, and I don't know when I'll be back. And I'll always call on it later, if you don't have the information I need now.
Please.
I mean, your prince is a Tremere. I assume the Tremere spend a lot of time going through here.
See?
I'm doing mental math.
It's the hardest form of math. I'm so sorry.
The hardest for math, what would it be? About 1238. There was a bunch of Kenites who went missing, of rather high rank, including myself.
I had heard the rumor.
Any of the Tremere that came through here.
Tread very carefully with the way you choose to punctuate this question.
I will. I would like to state that I mean no trouble for your prince or your city.
No, but it is often that these questions bring them regardless of intent.
I wouldn't do anything to cause any issues for Rosalind or Coterie.
Ask your question.
Did any of the Tremere that were going through here talk about where those members might have gone? Or who it was that talked of these things and those people? As you can see, I'm still here, so...
There is no one in the city that would possess that information other than the prince. And myself. So if it comes back to me, I will know that you heard it from me and passed it on to someone else. So please, let discretion guide you as I answer your question. They have been taken to a place where no one will ever find them. And a place where those who do find them will never be found. There is something that I have learned very acutely from working so closely with the usurpers. And it is that they are backed into a corner. They are at their most dangerous. You are getting dangerously close from putting the prince in a corner. Despite your relationship with her, she will never choose you.
I didn't say she would.
Be careful, Prince Jack of Sigisara. Wouldn't want you to go to your final death with a favor of mine looming over you. She stands and she bows politely. And she excuses herself from your chambers.
Jack is going to close the door. Go sit on the bed. And just bury his head in his hands.
I'm gonna fucking cry.
With that, we will end this episode on a very short monologue. There is this wonderful thing that happens when the sun rises. Death takes each of you once more. This somewhat endless parade of death and the facsimile of life that you've gone through for so many years. But while you are all dead, the world around you yet lives. As the last scene of this episode is in the marketplace of Alba Iulia. Just after noon, the sun high in the sky. Folk going to and fro. As the door opens to a small shop, the shopkeeper looks up, a haggard-looking man, probably in his early 50s. A shadow looming over the counter that he stands behind. As the shopkeeper looks up, "Is there something I can help you with, Father?" Well, first of all, may the blessings of Rome fall upon you, my son. Tell me, have you seen this one? And as the camera pans out, a hand-drawn picture of a familiar face. Sister Gisela slides across the table. With a black cloth-gloved hand pushing it, with an emblazoned white cross on the back of the glove. Thank you all for tuning into this episode of Transylvania Beckons. We're going to go ahead and go around real quick, reintroduce all of us, do a little plug, and we'll go ahead and we'll start with the wonderful, the current domain reigning prince, Druid by Night.
Hi, I'm Luna, or Druid by Night. You can find me at Druid by Night on TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Twitch, where I stream. I'm the social media director for Rolling Nomads. I play in Ways of Old, and obviously Transylvania Beckons. And tonight I have been Prince Rosalind Tremere.
Hello, I am Az most days, but tonight, time is weird soup. I was Jack, the lost prince of what once was Strasbourg, who is feeling all of the guilt. But you can find me as I was on all the social medias, including the corpse of Twitter. And we'll see what happens next session. Hi, honey, I hope things are going okay.
Hi, I'm terrified. I mean, I'm the Azure Butterfly, or Azure for short, or simply Rachel. You can find me over at theazurebutterfly.ttv. I am also on the Rolling Nomads as the creative director. I am on Ways of Old as well as Ingrid of Sintra. I'm here as Prince Juliana Volstadt, aka Jill. Yeah, you can find me on the social medias at the Azure Butter 1 or the Azure Butterfly on mostly just Blue Sky because Blue Sky did not allow me to do the Azure Butter 1. Yeah!
And certainly last but not least, I have been literally everyone else. I am Avery in my day-to-day. I am at Golden Gwydion on all the social media platforms, and I promise you, for all of you that have been in my DMs asking me when I'm going to start streaming video games, I'm going to start doing that soon. I swear. And I also play the debonair debutante Calamus Acorus in The Witcher Ways of Old here on the Rolling Nomads as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode. And, as always, we love you. Thank you for being here. And have a good time zone. That's us in a handbasket. Have a good night.